It's a 2-cup coffee kind of day. Hope you guys are doing good. Today I am going through some very old garlic just to make sure before I toss it that there are not any viable cloves in here. This is our harvest from last year, and I made the mistake. You know how they say out of sight, out of mind? This is definitely the case. I put this basket up under the counter with the hope that I would get around to peeling these really smaller cloves and doing something with them, and now they're just dust. So that is not useful for me right now. Yeah. Sometimes they can be dry, and you can take them and you can put them like in water. And well, that one may do something. One like this one here, it's not completely dried, and I could take it and put it in water, and it would probably give me some shoots out the top. That I'm not expecting any roots from these, but I do like to use the garlic tops for seasoning, and so that's what I was hoping to be able to get from this. So I got one. I just hate to waste things, and I'm really mad at myself that I forgot about this. Like, I would see it down there and I'd be like, oh, I gotta get to that. Oh, I gotta get to that, and I never got to that. But these are the really small ones that are a pain to peel. On the more pressing side, put that one to the side there. On the more pressing side, we have our garlic that we're going to be setting out for fall that's come in from Southern Exposure. We got 2 varieties that are common to us, actually 3. Insulum, chestnut red. Okay, no, it was 2 varieties. Those are the 2 varieties that we've used in the past. 2 of 3 varieties we've used in the past. I did get a pound of the insulum and only 8 ounces of the chestnut red. Chestnut is a hard neck, insulum is a soft neck, and then I wanted to experiment with this Nukta. I don't think I'm saying that right, but you pronounce it. Nukta rose. Got 8 ounces of it to experiment with. I saw some good reviews on some other videos. I can't remember right now who, but if I remember, I'll link that. But I wanted to give it a shot ourselves and see how it does in our climate, zone 8. So it is the last day of October, and actually this is a little late for me to be planting garlic, but the temperatures have shot up. We went from a possible freeze to 80 degrees. Go figure, it is South Alabama. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start separating these cloves. I've already started preparing the bed where these are going to be planted, and this is going to be the same spot we planted last year, but without all the overhang of vines and trees shading the bed out. We'll have, I said last year, no, this year, no, last year. Oh my gosh. Garlic is one of those things that you plant the year before. So last year in October, when we planted the garlic, there was some pruning needed, and we never got around to pruning the grapevines, and we never got around to cutting down the trees that were behind it. And as the year progressed, I kept saying, we need to get it done, we need to get it done. But between hubby's full-time work schedule and his responsibilities, and also our son's schedule, it didn't get done. And I was having so many issues with my body. I couldn't even begin to want to tackle it. Well, this year is better, and so we've gotten that area cleared, and so that bed is a good spot for us to put our garlic. I hope that there's enough space for all of it. I can't remember. I have to look back at my notes to see exactly how much we planted there last year and the year before. So what I'm going to do, because I do want to make sure that I'm not mixing these up, because I want to be able to know which variety continues to be good for us and which one may not be good for us to buy again for the following year. Specifically this Nukta, that is a word, rose, because it's our first time planting it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to label. Did I leave those styrofoam? Could you pass me could you pass me those styrofoam cups? Thank you. We have these styrofoam cups, and what I have is, we'll have 4, but I actually only need 3. So I will label them according to each variety, and then when we get ready to set them out, we'll know which one we're putting where, and we can label that row accordingly. So I'm just going to work on that, enjoy a little time lapse and some music. Okay, so whenever you are peeling your garlic cloves, not peeling your garlic cloves, but separating your cloves for planting, you'll notice that there's going to be multiple sizes that you'll have. This is the Nukta rose, and it gave us 1, 2, 3, 4, and I lost one. So 5 decent sized cloves that I would want to put in my primary bed for planting. But it did yield us quite a few small ones as well. Let me see how many we have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 small ones. Now, these are not something that you need to just throw away or toss. For me, I found that these smaller ones usually yield smaller heads. And so since space is an issue in the bed where I'm going to be planting my garlic, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use these smaller ones as a pest deterrent. Meaning I'm going to plant them along with some type of greens, and not counting on there to be a bulb at the bottom. They won't be affected by all of the nitrogen in those particular beds. And also hoping that the garlic smell will kind of confuse the pest a bit. We did this technique for 2 years now, and it's worked pretty well. It doesn't really help with worms so much, but it does seem to protect against the beetles, and then later in the season, squash bugs, aphids, and things like that. But yeah, so these smaller ones will go to the side, I'm not going to worry about trying to keep them separate as far as what variety is on these, but I am going to just keep all of the smaller ones together. So I guess that'll be what our 4th cup is for. I keep a tally here. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cloves. Okay, so we've done the Nukta Rose, and out of 5 cloves, we got 20, 30, 36 large plantable pieces that we're going to be planting, and we got 14, 24, 25 smaller ones that we'll be using for pest control. So 8 ounces. 8 ounces. Let me see if I can weigh this. Okay. Here. Our cup weighs 0.24 ounces. All right, let me do that math. All right, so we have a total of 6.68 ounces. Of the 8 ounces ordered. 6.68 ounces for garlic bulbs, and the remaining over here, I'm not worried about weighing that. You could do that math in your head. So about 1 ounce and 1.32 ounces that we're not going to be using for bulb garlic. That's not too bad. So that is our results on the Nukta Rose. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and get started on our chestnut red. I did not do this last year. I only focused on, for the last 2 years actually, I only focused on the end result. But I also, this year, I thought, let me just focus on the whole picture, because beginning, end are closely related. All right, we're gonna go ahead and get started on the chestnut. So this chestnut is a hard neck variety. As a result, it will have this hard neck. It goes all the way to the base of the plant. So they become a little easier to pull apart than those soft neck varieties because you can just pop it out easier because of that stem. Alright, so for the totals on our chestnut red, so we got 44 to, wow. So on this particular variety, we got a lot more usable cloves. We got 44 usable for bulbs to 4 usable for tops. And we have 7 ounces. Still moving here. 7.25 ounces. That's pretty good compared to our last one. 7.25 ounces out of 8. And there's my data. You may already have this information, but if you did not, now you do. Our last is the Incheon Red. This is another soft neck variety, so it's probably going to be a little bit more difficult, not as quick to peel. Yeah, the soft neck varieties are definitely harder to separate. The hard neck varieties are easier to separate. That may seem backwards, but it is what it is. So on our Inshalom red, we have 44 cloves that we're going to be using for bulbs, and then 27 that we're going to be using for tops. Let's get the weight. 594. So remember, the Inshalom, I actually got a full pound, and that was just the first 8 ounces. So we have another bag to go with 5 more cloves. So I'm just gonna 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We are almost done, and my fingers are happy about that. So Inshalom red is not looking that great when it comes to getting started. So we'll see what ends up happening in the end. So we've got 318, 594, 2, out of 16 ounces, a pound, we're only gonna have 9.12 ounces to plant for bulbs. So that's a little disappointing, but that's it. We are done. I have a mess to clean up, and this is only half of the process. Got to get outside now and get these guys into the ground. We've already done a video of us planting our garlic. I will link that below if you want to see how we do it. But for now, I'm gonna put our final numbers on usable bulbs here at the end of the video, and we'll catch you in the next one.
Guys, so in the video I did give you a bunch of numbers. This is just from my personal experience with my particular order. I could make this order next year and have totally different results, so just keep in mind that this is not a definitive thing, but this is just something that I'm doing to ensure that I'm getting the best bang for my buck when it comes to purchasing our seed garlic each year. As you can see, the seed garlic is already up. The first one that came up was the Nuke Rose, and that is here in the middle. and then it was closely followed by the other two. They're doing really well, and even though I've done some leaf mulch in here, there's still some weeds coming up, and so I'm going to get in here and get those tiny weeds out. But we're up for our first frost in a couple of days, and it's going to be a hard one. So I'm glad to see that these have made some progress before that happened. Alright, stay tuned and we'll continue to monitor the growth of these 3 varieties over the next 290 or so days. Happy growing from our family to yours.